Right, so now we've got a blank canvas down the bottom here. I can see the footage that I've got, and I can see a blank place, and then over here is a preview of what's going on my screen. At the moment, nothing. Okay, now the first thing that you want to do is you want to put in your background first. Now this is important. If you don't bring your background in first, the green screen effect won't work. Okay, so here's what you can do. You can go into Safari, go to Google, search for the image. When you find the image that you want, put it on the desktop, and then you're right to go. So let's do that quickly. I'm in Safari. I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in News Desk. Might spell that right. News Desk background. We put newsroom. Right, so I'm going to click on images there just to weed that down a little bit. And there's a whole bunch of different ones there. So I'm going to change mine to newsroom. That's probably a bit of a better search. Okay, so you can see there's heaps of different ones there. All right, so you would find the one that you like. Let's say it's maybe, no, this one. Probably, let's say I go with that one. Well, here's a nice one. Yeah, let's go with that one. So I click that, I press View Image, and now I right click and save the image as. And you can probably just put it on your desktop, give it a name, and press save. I can Command and Q in Safari now. I don't need Safari anymore. Alright, now from here I'm going to open up my Finder to my desktop, and I'm going to find that file. Here it is here, and I'm just going to drag it straight into this blank canvas. Click back in iMovie. So now you can see I've got this background. Now notice as I'm scrolling backwards and forwards here, you can see that effect. It's zooming in and out. That's called Ken Burns, and I really don't want that because I want the background to be pretty static or still. So this little button up here, the crop button, I'm going to press that, and I've got some options. I can fit the whole thing in. Ken Burns is the one that it had originally, which is the zooming in and out effect, and crop to fill. Now I'm just going to crop this a little bit just to remove that little bit at the bottom there that I don't really want. I can move that around and get it to where I want, and then I tick it to say yes, I'm good to go. Now you notice as I'm scrolling it just stays nice and still. Now here's a little tip. I'm going to make this, I'm going to drag this out. You can see it's at 5 seconds at the moment. I know my footage says here it's 10.4 seconds. So I'm going to make it at least 15, 20 seconds. It's easier to trim a bit off at the end. The other thing I'm going to do is at the moment this scale is set to be really big, which means you have to scroll around a lot to get things to move things. So you can see as I'm dragging this out, I'm going to make it about 20 seconds there. That should be enough. Alright, so now I've got my background in place. Now it's time to put my raw footage over the top. Now if I double click that footage that I've got here, you'll see the yellow bars go around the outside. That means I've selected the whole lot. You can grab the ends here and drag just to the bits that you want, but you can also do that after you've dragged it down. So I'm going to drag it down to the workspace down the bottom, and you can see I can choose where to put it. So I'm just going to pop it right at the start, and I'm not putting it on top of, I'm going to put it just above there like that, and I'm going to let go. Now you can see I've got some choices up here: cutaway, green, blue screen, side by side, picture in picture. So I'm going to use the green blue screen effect, and straight away you can see that my raw footage has lost its green screen and been replaced by the image that I put in the background. Okay, now as I'm scrolling you can see just over here there's a real hot spot on the camera. Well, that's from the lighting being probably a bit too close on my screen. Not much you can do about that in terms of the footage because it's already been recorded, but there is a really nice little button. If you don't have this button on your version of iMovie, then you can play around with the colors of the greens, like these kind of the color scheme, and that might help. But this little rubber here, if I just click there, it cleans it up really nicely. So if you've got that, that's great. Right, so now I've got me sitting in front of a fake background. I can actually drag this back now to match the size of my footage. Okay, you can see I can just kind of tweak that till it's right. Right, so let's have a look. I always like to play it every now and then. Spacebar to play.
Breaking news at Stella Maris. Year 6 are going to do a green screening project. That has a lot of skills. I hope they can live up to their task.
Now don't worry too much about how that's jittery. iMovie is a really heavy program to use. So it will be a bit jittery. It won't look like that in your final video. Okay, so that's basically the start of that. Now, if you are using a picture-in-picture and you want to put another little square of information up there, like a graphic or a map or some other thing, then you're going to need to do this next step. So it seems a bit weird, but I'm actually going to finish or export this here like that. So I'm going to press share and I'm going to press file, and it's going to give me some information here, and probably just choose whatever the default is, but just have a look there. You really don't need it in high definition, because where it's going to end up on a website or on our live page is not really going to be high definition. I'm going to press next, and it's going to ask me where do I want to put that. I'm going to put that on to your desktop just for now. You're going to give it a name and press save. Now I've got a progress bar up here. On your version you might not get that, it might look slightly different, but basically I just have to wait for that process to finish. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to add another effect on, and to add another effect I need to first export my movie with this green screen effect in there. Alright, so I'm going to close that, and now I'm going to import that back in. So like before, I'm going to press import, but this time I'm going to go to my desktop, and I've got quite a few files here, but just on my desktop, I'll close up some of these other things. Alright, on my desktop I've got, looking for, oh there it is, that's the one there. So I'm going to click that and press import selected, and now you can see it in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually finished with this. I'm going to delete that out, and this time I'm going to drag this footage that I just exported in here. So now there's no green screen effect happening in here because it's already been done. That allows me to add a new effect because you can only do one effect at a time. So here we go. This time I'm going to put a picture in picture. Now the picture in picture that I'm going to add is, it could be anything, a photo of anything. So I'm just going to find a little photo that I have here from previous. Let's have a look. Same deal as before though, I can get any kind of photo I like from the internet and then drag it straight in here. So I think I'll go back to that one. So I'm going to drag that down like I did with the green screen, and I'm going to pop that up the top there like that. Okay, and I'm going to drag it to the same width, but this time when I click that, this little button up here, instead of cutaway, I'm going to put picture in picture, and now you'll see it's made a little picture in picture up here. I can drag the corners to be as big as I would like. Now remember, you would have filmed for this. If you've got a picture in picture in mind, you would have had to put the person across to the side. You can see that I'm not in the center of the picture because I knew I was going to be putting a picture in picture on the side here. Alright, so now I've got two effects, the green screen and then a picture in picture as well. Alright, if you don't like that picture, you can get rid of that. Let's watch that again. This is just another picture that I've got. I'm going to drag that down in here. I'm going to press the effects button and I'm going to call it picture in picture. and there it is. So I'm going to make it slightly bigger. I can also move it around. I like there, so I'm happy. And I'm also going to make it across to the same width as I wanted to before. Okay.